What I call is a hook is the first 3 seconds of the video.
First 3 seconds.
First 3-4 seconds, whatever. It's the intro of the video. So it should be something that would make people stop scrolling, make people more engaged with your video. And then after the hook, then you can jump into bridging, where you bridge between your hook and your content.
Hi, this is Michael from Modular Agency, Taipei. I'm here with our guest, Ryan from SNXP Studios here in Bali, and project manager, Jean from Modular.
Hi, guys.
So I invited Ryan to come and talk to us because Ryan is actually quite a famous TikToker. And while to be a famous TikToker is not particularly impressive, he did it in 10 months, getting 124,000, do you call them fans?
Followers.
124,000 followers on TikTok in 10 months. So you started when you were 19 years old?
Yeah.
Last March.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have not only a whole bunch of fans, but you have your production studio, SNXP Studios.
Yep.
And then you guys do production, marketing, graphic design.
Yeah.
All kinds of
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to learn a little bit about your story, especially about how you got so many TikTok followers in such a short time. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us why you started TikTok in the first place?
Okay, so I never actually really started TikTok. So how I started is basically by accident, because what I did, I just post my fitness transformation, and I get like 100,000 of views. So that's really how I started. And then people started coming at me and asking questions. So what I did basically, instead of just like making contents, I just answer to them. So like what kind of question they have. Because like in Indonesia, it's like back then it's like a bit hard to get like a good quality fitness information. So what I'm giving is just basically like a good content, and then I tried my best to like answer to their question, and then making something or like answering comments that is relatable to the most audience. So yeah, that's basically how I started.
Okay, so your TikTok content is about fitness.
Yep.
And you used to be a big boy.
Yeah.
And you recorded your fitness transformation live on TikTok, right? Like day by day?
Yeah, I post every 2 days now. Yeah, I used to be 120 kilo. So back then, like 5 years ago, I was like really, really fat. And then I have like pictures of that. So I just like use that as my content, because like people seeing that transformation and they get motivated by it. So I think that's also like one of the reasons why people watch my video. But now it's moving towards more fitness rather than just weight loss. So I try to talk about fitness in general, bodybuilding, like trends, and then other influencer that is like really happening right now. So yeah.
Okay. So you make it sound really easy, like anyone can do this, but I think it's not that easy, because I think a lot of the times people who want to start social media presence, or they want to start their personal branding, they start it out and then they get tired and stop, and then they don't continue with it, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to learn about is how you kept this going consistently. And I also want to talk about what's the importance of personal branding today, because people talk about personal branding and not a lot of people really know why we should do it or what's the point of it. So let's start with the first question. How did you consistently post? So how many was
Every
it?
2 days.
Every 2 days.
Every 2 days.
So, I mean, I just like to make content in general, you know, like it's fun to answer people question. It's fun to get all the views, all the likes. So what really motivates me is because people keep coming and asking questions. Also, I just like making content in general. So like, I also like to help people, because my motivation to do TikTok until now is to help people, because I find it as a way, probably as a therapy as well, to thank myself in the past, and then helping people now. Because the thing is, when I used to start fitness, when I used to start weight loss, it's really hard to find good information about fitness. It's really hard to even answer how to lose weight, because like in Indo, like people just try like all these like stupid diets, and they try to lose weight, but it doesn't work out, because like that's not how you should do it. You should do it the correct way. You should count your calories. You should do calorie deficit. So yeah, I just find it as a way to thank myself. That's what really motivated me. It was never about like, oh, I want to make content, I want to be famous, I want to be this, I want to be that. It's just, it's just like I find it as a therapy for myself. So yeah, that's how I keep posting consistently. Also along with that, now since I also run like a marketing or photography, videography company, I also started to make like content plan each month. So as the time goes by, it basically got really professional. So the way I handle my TikTok now is similar to the way I handle my clients. So yeah, it's pretty much just like that. It's the motivation that kept driving me.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So yeah.
I think it's really impressive that you have your own studio at such a young age.
Yeah.
Why did you want to start your own studio?
Okay, I started because I was planning to go to Queensland for uni. I got accepted into University of Queensland, but then something happened in my family, and then I ended up not going. So what I did basically, because I remember someone told me you either fight in Indonesia or you fight in Australia, even though you're not gonna stay there for a long time. So I choose the first option, and then my idea basically, I just want to run something, I just want to make something, and it happened to be production, because I have a basic in fashion and photography. So we started as a production house, and now we keep growing as a design marketing agency as well. You could call it an agency, but I don't really like to call it an agency.
Like studios.
Yeah,
Production
studio, like a team.
Studio sounds like a bunch of kids hanging out and making stuff. An agency sounds like a bunch of stress, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And you guys are mostly university students?
Yeah, like most of us is pretty young. We're like under 25. Like there's only like 2% that is over 25, which is our finance. She's like 48.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the boring stuff.
Yeah.
So if you could give maybe young people who want to start their own career or like start personal branding one tip, what would you give them?
Personal branding. I'm not really sure actually. I felt like with personal branding, what you should show is what you do, instead of trying to like convince people, oh, I'm like this, instead of like, just like actually show like, oh, you do this, instead of just, like let's say you are marketing, you want to show people that you're a marketer, and then you try to show something that you don't actually do. I don't think like that's a good idea. So it's always best to like show your personality, because I feel like even in TikTok, it's about personality, it's about being human, it's about showing that you are a person, because the approach nowadays with TikTok is just showing that you have personality, you're like an influencer or someone who's important. I think with that I feel like you can also apply that to brand. Do you think you agree with that?
Well, I'm very curious about this whole personal branding idea, because a lot of the really smart people, the influencers in the marketing space, they talk about you have to do your personal brand, and it's the best way to, increase your wealth or get more customers. So what is your view on personal branding, this word? What does it mean to set up your personal brand in the first place?
I feel like it's important so that people can get to know you better, so people know who you are. So I think like nowadays, if people looking at me, they look at me as more like a TikTok influencer, or like whatever you call it, like a TikTok, so like someone who likes from TikTok.
Can we call you a TikToker?
No,
You don't like that?
I don't like that. I don't think, yeah. I mean, I don't really like the term TikToker influencer, but Anyway, I felt like it's really important, you know, because your social media presence, your social media footprints are really crucial nowadays. I mean, it's not only to make money; it's also to letting people know that you do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like it's so. Let's say if you're like a photographer, but you never post about photography. Like people wouldn't know. Like people wouldn't know like what you can offer. People wouldn't know what is your skill, what's your specialty. So I think it's important to show off people like who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in general, yeah.
So I think some of the older people like me, I won't put you in that bracket of older
I'm
people.
not old.
But I think for us, we feel like to show this stuff on social media, it feels uncomfortable because we're showing off. And we've been taught like don't be too cocky and humble. And so I think a lot of the older people, we feel like, well, I don't want to show off, and if somebody wants to know what I do, they can just ask me and I'll send them my portfolio. But the young guys like you show everything. And so what do you think is the difference between showing or building your personal brand and actually showing off?
I think it's completely different because I feel like if you want to show your personal branding, you just have to be honest, and then showing off is just like, you know, what we call is flexing. Are you like
But we do
familiar
see
with
a
that
lot of-
terms?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Ah, okay. So yeah, yeah, I think like I mean, you can't really tell the difference, you know, like just showing off people what you do, and then actually just like showing off,
Like
so
bragging.
it's completely different thing, and then the way you approach it is also different because with personal branding, you're showing something that is valuable, while showing off is just you want to show like something, and then you want to get validation over it. So
Yeah, I think for Ryan, as opposed to showing off, he like teaches people.
yeah.
He's good at something, but he also brings something valuable to the audience.
Yeah, I think my approach to content is storytelling. I mean, I would consider my content as education, but it wasn't like education like as in like teaching. So it's a lot more like I'm telling a story, and then through that story I educate people. So yeah, I feel like it's all about your approach to everything basically.
Okay, so one thing I would like to hear is your story about your transformation, not only your physical transformation, but before being an influencer, which was just like you started last March, and now, how has your life changed before and after by having all of this extra exposure from TikTok?
Okay, because I mean before, because I used to be a fat kid my entire life, so I never really grow the confidence, never really have the confidence, because like I felt like people always looking at me differently. People always look down at me. So after I lose weight, after I did all this transformation, yeah, there's a lot of like mental change as well. So I feel like right now I become more confident. I'm like I don't have to worry when I'm like showing off what I do, because like I feel like people would never consider it as flexing or like as bragging. But yeah, I think like it's lots of mental as well, this physical, and then I also find that like it's easier when you have in your head, I have this much followers. Like I mean, as stupid as it sounds, it's not about like bragging, but like it's more about like it helps you grow the confidence, and it helps you to grow like even bigger than what you currently are. So yeah, I mean the most important part is confidence for me, because yeah, as a kid I never really have that. So yeah, I think that's quite big. And then maybe like some funny things, like people at the gym just like, you know, like, oh, are you guys from Instagram? Are you guys from TikTok? Like,
Oh,
I'm like, okay.
people know who you are when you walk down the street, or it's like just
No,
at
not
the
like
gym?
that. I'm not Kim Kardashian, but yeah, it's like yeah. Sometimes people just like, you know, even like when I go to my rent vendor where I usually rent my gear, people the guy was just like, oh, are you on Instagram? Because I saw your videos a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I think it's just like a mix of like some funny stuff and then like some like really serious mental stuff.
Do you feel like that that confidence you got from TikTok helped you to launch your own company? Because it takes confidence to launch a company, I think.
Sort of in a way, but I don't think it affect me that much. I mean, I feel like right now I prioritize my company over my TikTok. Even though TikTok is one of my income source, but I feel like because it's in a two different field. One is fitness and social media, and one is more like a production side marketing. So it does help me a little bit, but I don't think like even without the TikTok, I think I would still do it because I just like business. I just like doing stuff in general. So yeah.
So I'm encouraging my team, like Jane and others, to start their personal branding journey. And I'm going to start myself too.
That's cool.
Part of the reason why we're here in the studio. So, what I'm hoping to learn from you is a framework for how anybody who's watching this video can start going on their personal branding, even if they're so late to start, even if they don't have a single social media account.
Okay.
Can you tell us kind of like a step-by-step framework for how to get started and how to keep it consistently going?
Okay. I mean, when I started, like I actually have no idea about TikTok, about social media, as in I just make content. So I felt like the first step that you should do, like with my all these experience now, I feel like the first step is to pick a niche. So whether it's marketing, whether it's design, whether it's fitness or like other things that you do. And the second is that maybe after picking it, do a content that you actually like, that you actually would watch. Because a lot of people, like especially on Instagram, I'm just like I keep seeing like these people just making something that I don't think themselves want to see. You know, as in I don't think like because I don't think that they would scroll or they would watch the video they make. So yeah, that's the first step. So do something, do a content that you actually like, you actually would watch. If you don't watch it, then don't do it. And then afterwards, just make content. Maybe you can do some testing. So maybe you can post like 3 content a day or like 4 content a day. And then let's see which one gets more view. And then you replicate that. So
when you say content, you mean short videos or any content?
Really anything. I mean, if we're talking about like social media in general, but if we're talking about TikTok, I think the approach would still be the same. I mean, it's similar when you do like ad testing in Facebook, where do you make multiple ad copies and then you duplicate that and seeing which results are better. And then after that, it's about like scaling. So after you found your niche, you found your audience, you just have to make more content about that. And as you go, I feel like you're going to find something that would increase your view. So let's say whether it's the hook, whether it's the storytelling, whether it's editing. So when you found that, you just keep improving on that. I mean, for me, first, it's always the hook because people seeing my transformation before, after, and they like get shocked. And then the second is storytelling for me because it's the way how I keep my audience engaged with my content. So I always like to make shorter videos so I get more retention rate. So they watch my video longer. And then probably the third one for me, it's the editing. Because you should realize, I mean, everyone should realize in TikTok, it's a short video format. So your video must be packed with information. If there is a delay or like there's a boring part in your video, I don't think that would work better as if you have like a content that is packed with information.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like that's how I would do it if I have the knowledge I have nowadays.
So Ryan, be honest, how many of your TikTokers did you buy?
No, I don't buy TikTok followers.
Okay, cool.
Is it hard to like grow organically?
Okay, what's interesting about TikTok is it's FYP system where they show like video of people based on the algorithm. So it's different with Instagram because like back then Instagram uses what we call is timeline. So they sort the post by the time. So which one get posted first is the one gets sees first. So with TikTok, it's you can have your video like 10 days after and then it goes viral. So you can upload it like now and then maybe like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks it gets viral. So that's still possible with TikTok. So it's so much easier to grow organically because TikTok always introduce your video to a new audience. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, even if you have the chance, the money, like I don't think you should ever buy followers on social media. There's no
Why?
point of that.
Why?
Because buying followers, I mean, those followers won't interact with you, so there's no point of that. I mean, I used to sell followers, honestly. I yeah, I used to get like $100 a week just by saying followers. So yeah, I mean, I know for sure like those followers doesn't mean anything. It's just like a number on your profile.
So let's talk about your framework. So first is the hook,
Mm-hmm.
then there's the story,
Yeah.
then there's the editing, and these are the three components of good
And your
TikTok
personal niche.
video.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean by the hook? Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so the hook is basically the title. So what's a video title? So what I call is a hook is the first 3 seconds of the video.
First 3 seconds.
First 3-4 seconds, whatever. It's the intro of the video. So it should be something that would make people stop scrolling, make people more engaged with your video. And then after the hook, then you can jump into bridging, where you bridge between your hook and your content. So when bridging, what I do, I don't really like tell the information. So bridging is just basically I'm just like blabbing whatever. So they would watch my video more. And after bridging, then I give them the content. And then after that, after I give the content, what I would do is that I end the video with giving something that is more valuable, or like trading something with them. So let's say whether it's an information, whether it's a question, so something that would pursue the audience to actually comment or like or maybe share to their friends. So yeah, that's how I would do it.
And this is the framework you follow for every single one of your TikTok posts, twice a week.
Yeah, right now, yeah. But I besides doing that, I also experiment with other like format. So it's not always that. But yeah, I think it's one of the thing that would work better.
Okay, and so I want to get a little bit deeper. How do you find the hook every single time? And can you teach us how to do that?
Okay, so for the hook, I would do something that is relatable, that is a lot of people doesn't know. Okay, so let's say one of the example is that how I lose 50 kilo, but I'm still eating rice.
Oh, so I'm like, man, that sounds like impossible. Like,
Yeah,
nobody-
exactly. Because like
Rice.
yeah, especially in Asia, like people think that rice is the one make you fat, but like it's not the rice. Come on, like rice is only like what 200, 300 calories. What makes you fat? It's like what's next to the rice. So like if it's a pork belly, then the pork belly what make you fat, not the rice. So yeah, I use that as a hook. That I think that's one of my hook.
So keep it relatable.
Mhm.
And I think you have to kind of turn some idea that everyone thinks is common practice, turn it upside down.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's one of the approach, yeah. Or you can just say something that is maybe like people wouldn't think about. So maybe I would say like how can I eat like six times? How can I eat 6 times a day, but I'm still losing weight?
Right. It's like, well, that's impossible. Of course
Yeah,
you can't do
'cause
that.
like,
So I
yeah.
have to watch the video.
And then after that, I explain about calories, and then I get deeper into the calorie deficit and all that. So yeah, that's how pretty much I do my hook. It's not complicated. Your hook should be simple.
Right.
Because like the more complicated it is, the more people think. And people watch social media, they don't want to think. They want to be entertained. So just make sure that you are entertaining them.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure for me.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like funny content. I mean, it just have to be like something that is
Right.
like.
Something that's interesting
Yeah.
that people want to click on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Am I interesting?
You are.
Yeah, I think Michael is interesting.
Yeah.
Are you interesting, Jin?
I am.
Everyone
course
can
I
be.
am.
I think everyone can be interesting if you just find.
Find your personal niche.
Yeah, and I think you have to have an awareness of what is the interesting part of you that you can share to the world, right? Because
Yeah.
I think everyone I meet is doing something cool in their life.
Yeah.
But very few of those people realize that that thing they're doing is actually cool.
Oh yeah, that's actually right.
because they're just doing it every day
Yeah.
and they don't notice it. It's something that other people think is like, wow, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that's right. Because when I started TikTok, like I don't think losing 50 kilos is that impressive until I started posting it.
Right.
So I was kind of shocked actually. Like I got like 1 million views in like a video or like, yeah. So yeah, I think like that's pretty important. Like you have to realize like you have something in you. I mean, especially if you watch this podcast, you'll probably have like a skill or like something that you can show off to people.
Yeah.
That's very like motivational. Everyone has something that's special in them.
Yeah, but then do you have the awareness to figure out what is the special thing that you're doing that other people want to learn about?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Maybe you can ask someone else, like your friend. For example, like Brian asked me, hey, is there anything special about me? Is that awkward?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Is there anything special about you?
Like you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Like, I own my own store and I work in a cool agency.
Oh, that's
See?
that's
Two
impressive.
things.
That's two things. Yeah, I think everyone has one at least.
So we have the framework, we have the hook, then you said the story. Now let's talk about the story. What exactly do you mean by the story? We all think we know what that means, but what does it really mean as a social media
Okay,
content
so
creator?
I would define a story as the flow of my video. So, it doesn't have to be exactly storytelling, but it's just the flow, how you drive your audience from point A to point B.
Okay. Because if
So-
you just awkwardly cut it, then the audience is going to be like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to drive the audience without them realizing it. So how do you approach your content? How do you tell what information you want to give? It's in the flow. So you have to remember that you should make the flow as smooth as possible. And yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly storytelling. It could be really anything.
And do you plan it out in storyboards, or is it kind of just like you have it all in your head?
So I write down a script actually. So actually, like I'm not a good storyteller. Like I don't tell story as interesting as other people, and I do realize that. And so what I did, I think what I realized, one of the skill I have, I think I'm pretty good at making a script and making like copywriting. So I just do that. So I would plan out my content. I would separate it into like 3 different categories. So I would write down the hook first, and then I go to the content, and then I go to the ending. So yeah, I just write it down on like Google Docs.
Okay, so Google Docs, write down the script, even if it's for like a 1 minute TikTok or 30.
Yeah, I think you should plan everything.
Still plan everything, because I think a lot of people think TikTok is just like grabbing your phone and shooting something.
No.
But there's actually planning involved.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do TikTok dance, sure. I mean, you have to plan for that one. But if you want to do a good content, I think writing down at least an idea would help you like far, rather than you just do it. Because like I don't think you would remember what you want to tell the audience if you don't write it down.
So like a content calendar and like an outline.
Yeah. It's pretty similar, like content plan, content calendar, something like that.
So then the next question I have is, how do you consistently have ideas every single week, like new ideas?
This is actually interesting because a lot of people that they don't realize they consume a lot of content, and from that content you consume, you can make more content. So basically, what I did, I just watch other fitness YouTuber that I like, or like watch fitness TikToker, influencer, whatever, that I like, and then I usually get inspiration from their content. So what they're talking about is what would I talk about in my video.
Okay, so basically there's unlimited inspiration by watching other people's content that you like.
Yeah.
And comments and feedback.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like watch your audience closely, because like they're the one who watch your content. You shouldn't like depend on you only, but you also have to depend on your audience. So just analyzing what they want in general would help.
It's kind of like SEO. So like keyword searching, that's what we do as well.
Yeah.
And if just want to see what the target audience wants.
Yeah, so I think knowing your audience is really important, and that's something that in marketing everyone talks
maybe
about.
knowing and defining.
Knowing and defining your audience.
You have to define your audience, definitely.
Because a lot of your fitness content is not interesting to other people who are interested in, let's say, building muscle, right? It's like it sounds like your content is for people who are into weight loss.
He has a 6-pack.
I felt like my content is for average people. I don't make content for bodybuilder. I make content for just like everyday people who want to lose weight but they don't know how to do it.
But I think people who try to make content for everybody, they end up getting nobody.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Because it has to be a niche, but don't be too specific about it, and also don't be too wide about it. So it has to be in the middle. So you get both, like people who are into like specific things and people into like a broader things.
Right. So before we talk about that though, what I want to know is, okay, so we know how to do the hook. We know how to create the story after the hook. And then now you said the editing is important. So what do you mean by that?
Editing as in the way you spice up your video. Because the way I do it, so I would include transition. I would include a fast cut. So don't do a footage or like a video that is too long. You have to do cut like between it. So every time I say one sentence or like a few words, I would cut the video. So because like my video is mostly voiceover, so the fast cut would help people to engage more, because with the visuals, it can help to entertain them and making them stay for longer. So beside packing my video with content, I also care about the visual, even though it's just a stock footage or like a video of me working out. So it has to be a fast cut for me, at least. I mean, what worked for me.
So how fast is a fast cut?
As in like in a few sentence or like in a few words, I would change the visual.
Okay, and in one TikTok video, how many individual cuts do you have on average?
In 1 minute, maybe like it could be like 7, 8.
7, 8 cuts.
So, yeah, that's around like 5 seconds.
So every 3 to 5 seconds, you just cut.
Yeah, because if you keep like if you keep showing the audience the same video for like 10 seconds, I don't think anybody want to watch that.
Right.
Unless like you're talking, that's a different story. But if you're like doing a voiceover, I think you should do a fast cut.
Okay. And then this is something you do on your phone with the TikTok software, or do you?
Oh no, I don't know TikTok software. I mean, if you started, it's fine. If you just get started, it's fine to use TikTok software. I mean, the way you type on TikTok, I mean, the TikTok text editor help you to gain more followers. As in, people TikTok would recognize what you're writing in your video, and then TikTok would push that into a new audience. But for me, I don't really like the TikTok software, so I just use like professional editing software like DaVinci. Yeah, I mean, I have an editor now, so I don't really edit my video anymore.
Okay. So when you are doing your own videos, how much time did you spend creating content?
Each video can take about like 1 hour.
1 hour per video.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, right now it's only like 20 minutes or like 15 minutes just writing down the script, taking the voice over, and then send it over to my editor. Because I have like a huge library of stock footage of me working out. So I just keep using that and recycling that as content.
Okay. And then your budget. So I think you set aside a budget for this now. Do you think it's realistic for people to, for anyone to do this? Or is it because you run this production company?
I mean, it's possible for sure, because in the first 6 months, or at least until I reach 100,000 followers, I edit my video by myself, because it's really hard to find someone who know my taste, who would go with what I think. So I think it's really possible. I mean, right now you got like CapCut on PC and Mac, and then you got like all these like video editors that like take like 5 minutes to learn. So yeah, it's really possible. And with your phone, you can do a lot. You can do video editing. You can take voiceover like in one device. I think that's really powerful nowadays.
Okay. And So do you think that now is kind of a crazy time in the world where anybody can kind of create their own TV channel? And I mean, I think before, when I was young, or like think about my parents, they had there was no ability to do this. You had to be famous and go to Hollywood and be on TV
Oh yeah.
to be well known. But it's like now is a crazy time when anyone can be well known and set up a personal brand and create their content, right? I just think people struggle with the idea of it because it sounds so difficult. But the way you break it down, you make it sound actually very doable.
Yeah.
So can you give us some tips, like let's say 1 to 3 tips on how we can get started on building our personal brand, whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook?
3 tips, as in how you should approach it, or
Yeah, I mean, how to get started and then how to keep going for the long term without just, being excited for a week and then giving it up.
okay. I think if you just started, make something that you can make. As in, a lot of people make something that it's really hard to make. So if you produce a content or anything that is too complex, too complicated, take like 5 days to edit, I don't think you should do it. I mean, you can push the quality if that's what you really want to show. But if you just an average person in general, I think you should make content that easily being replicated and easily produced. So I think that's one. Make a content that easily produced, easily make. And then second, probably just showing off who you are, showing off your personality. If you're someone who likes to joke around, maybe just show that, a little bit of that. Or if you're someone who's like very serious, or like you're very sarcastic, I think just show it. I think people would find it interesting anyway. And probably the third is just find a motivation that would drive you. But one thing I would recommend, like, don't make money as your motivation, because when the money stop coming, you would stop making content. So
Yeah, I think the motivation to start is the most important thing.
yeah, it's really
It's going to keep you going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's helping people, and as a way to thank myself in the past. So maybe everyone should find something like that. I mean, if you're a graphic designer, maybe when you were in middle school, it's hard to get started because like there's no editing tutorials, and then you wanna make that as motivation to like help maybe young kids to start graphic designing. I think that would be good.
Okay.
Is there anything, like maybe one sentence you want to say to, like young people who are trying to like get started on TikTok maybe, or like start their own studio, something that you've done at such a young age?
Well, I mean, maybe one thing, maybe realize your capability, because for me, the reason I started this, because I mean, the reason I started TikTok, and the reason I started my production, my studio, is that because I have a few skill set that I know I can do, and then I think I have quite a decent taste in like editing or in graphic designing. So yeah, just realizing what you're capable of, and then try to make the best out of that.
Yeah, I think self-awareness is important.
Yeah, I think I feel like I mean, you're right about it. I mean, it's about self-awareness.
Yeah, realizing your potential, and then don't just know your potential and do nothing about it. Actually
Yeah.
chase that dream if you know you have the potential.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what's in store for SNXP Studio in this year? What's your goals or plans for your studio?
My goal, we probably wanna expand our business in general, as in we wanna offer more. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a rental service like here in Bali, or maybe something bigger. I'm still not sure yet, but I think this year is gonna be quite big for us, because we finally like find our own way. Because like when we first started, it's we don't really have the idea of what it's gonna be. So I mean, we know it's gonna be production, but like what kind of production, right? Like what's the goal? So yeah, maybe we just want to expand. We just want to grow in general.
Cool. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for sharing, Ryan.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Jean. Thank you.
Lot of learnings there. For anyone watching, don't be afraid of TikTok, no matter how old you are. It's not only for the kids anymore. I think it's the number one growing social media right now. And if you want to get going on your personal branding, there's a lot of benefits, whether you're looking to grow your business, get more clients, customers, find a new job, find a partner, whatever. I think personal branding is kind of a way to hack these things and get there faster. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.